King Saladeen, welcome back to the compound.
Thank you, man.
Compound Conversations is back.
It's an honor, brother. Thank you.
Nah,
Thank you.
I'm super happy to have you here. So, what do you think about the compound? Like, I mean, because you've been at the compound since the Bronx, and then
Yeah.
you've seen the transition, after the pandemic, like, and now being in a new space, you've been here for events, DraftKings interviews, a lot of different things. But what do you think when you come to the compound, being a creative? What do you think?
That's a tough one because I've seen it at so many different levels. I remember we had the Listerine event here upstairs, and then we went downstairs, but it was all like just brick and mortar, like dust everywhere. But you could see the vision, and then how hype you was, just like saying what it was going to be. And I seen you create, so I knew like you being that excited and that like putting that much time and effort into it, just like everything. I was just like, yo, this is going to be crazy. So to see it in full scheme of things, like now we can walk down there and listen to music and chill. You got the projector, it's ridiculous. So I don't know, man. It's just like, it's like a place that a creator can come and be super inspired. You know what I'm saying? I know that sounds kind of cliche, but it's like different levels of inspiration. You know what I'm saying?
Totally,
It ain't just
totally.
art. It's just not music. It's the conversations we be having. It's like, it's the music you play that I might have not heard since I might have been sitting with my grandpop or my dad, or
Yep.
it's just a whole element, man. It's like, it just took my creativity to another level.
So we grew up in Philadelphia. I grew up in Southwest. You grew up in West. And, now you're King Saladeen. But, Compound Conversations is starting from the beginning, You're King Saladeen now, but I want to know, the peasant, King Saladeen, how did it all, let's go through the whole journey, because a lot of times in media, people only understand your last project or the hype thing or whatever that is, and they don't get to understand your story.
Yeah.
So, I just want to have open dialect with people I love, my friends, and let the world understand their journey. So let's start from the beginning, from Philadelphia. What was life for you? What is family for you? Was it mom? Was it dad? Was it cousins in the neighborhood? But like, how did life start for King Saladeen?
So me, born in West Philadelphia, moved to Southwest when I was probably like 8 or 9. I remember my grandfather purchasing a dollar house for my mom. And we wound up like, not me, I was a kid, but I seen her fixing it up. I remember moving in and it was like graffiti everywhere. And like the process of us getting it together, moving in and things like that was just crazy. And moving from West to Southwest, especially when you 8, 9 years old, it's like, you got to meet all the kids on the block. You know what I'm saying? You got to, it's a whole situation, but that was just me, man. Like, amazing family, had amazing mother, father. I didn't meet my actual biological father. A lot of people don't know that because I don't really talk about it much and stuff like that, though. But I had an amazing stepfather that came in at the perfect time when I was like, my mom couldn't tell me nothing. You needed that man to kind of like direct
Guide
you.
you, yep.
Yeah, he was perfect, man. So shout out to him. I just had a great family. My grandmother, my grandfather, my aunt, she was the one that took us to like Disney World, took me skiing. You know what I mean? So she was the one that had like the really good job when I was young. So
Took you out the hood and seen more things.
seen so much more. So I remember going to like Epcot Center and riding on those things and just everything, and then coming back to the hood.
She had a good job then.
Yeah, she used to work she was a veterinarian at the VA hospital for University of Penn.
Okay.
So my grandfather set up all his kids to work at University of Penn, which was kind of crazy. He was a superintendent for the trucking company or whatever. But I don't know, man, just me being a young kid, super impressionable, you know what I'm saying? Especially not really growing up with a father. So that's why I'm like, me and, well, I'm not gonna say growing up with a father because I had a step pop, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying like that, knowing your DNA,
Yep.
I've always looked for, the guys that were doing good in the neighborhood, or,
Got you.
you know what I'm saying? Just looking up to certain people. But I mean, like regular kid in Southwest Philly, West Philly, trying to figure it out, not trying to get in trouble because I did have an amazing family, so I had people to answer to, you know what I'm saying?
Totally.
But just in a mix,
So, being me in my life, being able to be, born in New York but moved to Philly, I got a chance to see graffiti at an all-time high in New York. But then coming to Philly, it wasn't that much, Even like when you look at our trains in Philly, they were never graffitied like New York trains. And I don't even think I ever seen graffiti on the trolley. Like it seemed like the trolleys was always clean.
Yeah.
It was never, so, you spoke on that earlier, like, where did you like see graffiti, and was that the spark to make you start being like, okay, yo, this is dope. I want to draw. I want to like, where did that spark come from?
So my spark came from like literally like in my grandmom's house. So all the art on the walls would be from either my grandfather or my uncle that was also an artist. So growing up, I'm like just seeing art, and I go to my friend's house. You know, a lot of people in the hood don't have like interior design and stuff like that. So it's maybe a poster up in somebody's room, but it's never like art and just like in each room and things like that. So going over to my grandmother's house, it was almost like, it's almost like the sound gallery, bro. Or it was art places, it was music, it was like, it just wasn't regular art. It was art that he created from like different jazz players and people like that. So if I asked who this was, he would have a whole story behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So pretty much like that, but it sparked me just being around and having a DNA of artists, my grandfather and things like that. But graffiti was different. So I knew of a graffiti artist that was around my way. His name was Smack. He was the neighborhood airbrush guy. He was
doing the jean jackets and everything.
Everything. He was the boy. You know Smack. He was right on King Saladeen.
Oh yeah,
right near Jack's.
Jack's White, like 56.
So my best friend lived next door to him. So I would go get my water ice.
He used to airbrush on the porch and everything.
On the porch, he had the whole thing set up.
I totally remember.
So I'm like 10, 11 years old, going to go get my water ice, going to go see my friends and stuff. And I just had the balls one day to just be like, yo, can I sit on your porch and just watch you? He was like, yeah, young boy, but just don't be, you know how, don't be getting in the way. I got people coming up here. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna be sitting back quiet, had my little pad, and I literally studied his hand, like everything, like from his arrows to his crowns, like everything, bro. So I think right there, that was the spark. It was like, it was already in me, but once I seen somebody relatable, I was like 10, he was like 17, 18, wearing Pelly jackets. He looked like a drug dealer, but he was pushing a different.
He was pushing art.
Yeah, and it was like, damn, to see that, and then for him to like, yeah, young boy, you can sit on the porch. So once he knew I was cool, I'll be walking past and I might not come to his crib that day. He'd be like, man, what's up, young boy? You ain't gonna come to the porch? I'm like, no, I got a game. I'm on a bike. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was just, that was my light at the end of the tunnel for like, damn, maybe, just a maybe.
There's another path.
Yeah, so that was it. That was the spark. It was Smack, my man, Smack.
So, you know, most, at that age, you like 10 or 11, you know, he's getting exposed to junior high school probably, and girls, sports, you know, through knowing you and your history, it seemed like basketball was pretty much the first love more than art. So like, talk about like, because even with me, like basketball was a love. A lot of people don't know. When I got asthma, it was over. That was really what made me start DJing. I was like, I can't play sports no more. So I was like, you know, let me get into music. So talk about like that journey from like your love of basketball transitioning to art.
So my love for art was first, but I ain't have no outlet for art. You know what I'm saying? I stayed in the house and did art. So when I go outside, they playing football, they doing this, they doing that. That's the celebrated things, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
So art was more of my like therapy, my like getaway. That was just my thing. I didn't even tell people about nothing that I did. You know what I'm saying? If you was really close to me and you came inside my house, you'd be like, yo, what the? Because my mom let me write on my walls in my room. So that was the.
You had a good mom, man.
I have an amazing mom, and it's so crazy because I remember being like 5, 6. And I'm writing on my wall, and I'm like putting like things in front of it when I leave for school so she don't see it. But you know, a mom, she coming and cleaning. She's seeing everything. So she coming in, she like, yo, why is you writing on these walls? And I'm like, I don't know, it's my room. And I'm like, I can think about it, and I'm looking like my son in my head, right? I'm like, I don't know, I just wanted to write on it. It's my room. So she like, you don't pay for this house? So we going back and forth. Maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'm still writing on the wall. She beating me, everything, bro. She set me down and was just like, yo, I feel like you ain't gonna never stop writing on these walls. I'm like, kind of in my head, like, no. So she like, look, your room is you. You can do whatever you want on walls in that room.
Fine.
You better not come in the kitchen, living room, upstairs, nowhere, bathroom. I'm like, seriously? She like, yeah. So I think that was another spark.
So you was doing murals at a young age when you think about it.
When I think about it, yeah. But I was trying to hide them. So they small murals that I can come home and be satisfied. I don't know what the satisfaction was.
But it was something that was going on there.
Bro, it's just something. I feel it now. It's like crazy. You know what I'm saying? But that was, that's kind of how it like really, really like started, bro. It was like my mom. Then I go outside, I seen Smack. My grandfather.
So you were surrounded around you.
It was everything, bro. It was just everything.
So it sounds like through the journey, mom was, because a lot of kids ain't getting that pass to draw on the walls. That's not happening. So she either seen that you was pretty good too, though. I mean, because if you was trash, I don't think she's gonna let you draw on the walls. Like, you know, like even probably with your kid, you see things in him now that you like, oh no, let me get behind this. Definitely. Let me put fuel to this. Yeah. So, you know, because I know it's a lot of different inspirations in your life. So you drawing now, you're starting to understand, you know, even to me, like, your handwriting in your art world is one of the greatest I've seen. You know,
wow, thank you.
As far as like graffiti and just the messages that you put in your hand. Like what other influences and what other people started coming in your life through this at your early art age, like your art journey?
Well, so when you say handwriting, right? My grandmom taught me how to handwrite. She was a teacher. She was she worked, I forget what school it was. It was right there, like 56, right near Sherwood. That school right across from Sherwood. I don't know what it is, but she was a second grade teacher for that school. So I used to tell a lot of people that she used to do all my homework when I was a young boy. Everything. She'd come in. She'd be like, "What you got for homework?" And I'm like, "Hey, ain't nothing really." She'd like, "Give it to me." Like, and we'd watch General Hospital together. We'd watch General Hospital together. I knew everything about General Hospital. It was crazy. Young boy knowing General Hospital, right? But my grandmother would like show me how to write and flow, and I kept a lot of her letters when she passed away because her handwriting is so like, bro, it's almost like how like when people used to write like with the Declaration of Independence, and her shit is like, yo. So she was the one that taught me how to write. So it's like some people can do things and don't put words and messages. It's something I gotta do just because I don't know the way I came up.
You see your journey going from like, I'm looking at the timeline like you just did a mural in Philadelphia. Your artwork that's in the airport, and now tying that back to your story of being in your rooms and like just a lot of the words that you write on all the campaigns you're doing. It's always like sentences beside like knowing that these parts of your journey is coming from like grandma handwriting. So let's talk about like JP the money bear, and not just the money bear, but JP the person. You to me, you always had great men around you through your life, and JP. I never heard how y'all met, the stories, but a lot of people understand and see your work and see JP the money bear, but if they don't get to hear your story of them,
they don't get it.
And a lot of people get to hear the ending because, like I said, in media, you like this. My guy JP, he passed away from cancer.
Yeah.
But how did JP come around in your art journey? Like, because that's another part I haven't even understood. So I heard.
So the way we met, right? So me and JP, we met at Elmwood Skating Ring. So I'm a young boy. I come from that skating era. I'm skating every Friday. I was going on gospel nights to practice. Like I was in that, you know what I'm saying? So I used to always see him, and he used to be the only young boy. They used to wear these sweaters, like Bill Cosby sweaters. All the time, right? So I ain't say nothing for a couple of weeks, and I'm just like, and it's people coming to me like, yeah, who boy? Because he getting chicks. Yeah. He talking to girls. He doing the backward skating with the chick.
He playing tough crew.
Who is young boy with these sweaters? So one day I asked him, I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? Young boy stuff. Yo, why you always wearing these sweaters? He like, oh, this?
It's low.
He said, because y'all ain't got them. I said, I thought he was trying to play me. But I'm like, I asked him. He ain't just come up to me.
He have to say that.
So, I don't know, bro. Maybe we meet there every other week. We don't get tight until I get transferred from University City. So I'm in 10th grade. I get transferred to a prep school out in Northeast. So I got to take the Orange Line now. He went to Winyard Penn. So he's taking the train up to North Philly all the time. So I see my man from the skating ring in there. And I'm just like, yo, what's up, bro? So we get cool. I don't know. I'm just trying to speed this joint up. So we 14, 15 years old. We get super tight. Like I don't know. He was just like the perfect person for me. He was like the perfect hype man almost. But he had his own thing going on. So he was like doing his own thing, but he was just like, damn, this my man. So if it was basketball, if it was anything,
right,
like
whatever it was,
anything it was, he was just like, I got 500 on him. Like, and then he started getting money. It got crazy, you know what I'm saying? So he was like that friend. I'm gonna speed it up. He was that friend that was just like perfect homie. We used to go back and forth at it all the time. It was just like that perfect friend, you know what I'm saying? But he always wanted to see his friends win, and he would take those risks. He was in the street, you know what I'm saying? So he was getting locked up at an early age, stuff like that. He had to move to my crib, didn't finish high school. Like my mom let him stay with us, you know what I'm saying? Because his mom kicked him out. So we was like that tight. So when we started to grow up, you know what I'm saying? I remember like being in the basement. We listened to American Gangster album. And it was that one song, I forget what it was, and it was just like, it was talking about like, pretty much you gotta get up and get out and get it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nobody coming to help us. I forget the song right now. But he was just like, hey, we gotta figure it out. You know what I'm saying? He's like, bro, I take the risk. But you gotta do what you do. Because I was playing ball. So I went to school in Kansas, was on scholarship, was a hell of a basketball player, scored 1,000 points in my 11th grade year. So I wound up having probably like 1,600 points at my whole high school career, you know what I mean? and he was my main guy. Like, he was the dude after one of them 30, 40-point games. He like, bro, we going to City Blue. I'm buying you a Pelly.
Belly, Averex.
That type friend.
So you basically had, in the hood, how the drug dealer protects the basketball player. You had that protecting you as an artist.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And it was a lot of different people, too. So JP was the one that was like, you got a best friend. But then you got other people that everybody around me. So make this a shorter story. So I left school. Nobody really know that, right? I left school in my second year because I was inspired by my scheme. I come home from a college break one year, and we go down South Street. I go in USC Boutique. For some reason, I see this rack. I'm going to go get something polo. I see this rack of clothes that just got paint splattered everywhere, and I'm looking at it. So I'm thinking they probably $20 because it ain't low. It ain't.
It was like $70.
So I go grab them. I put them on the John. Boy say, yeah, $227.
What?
Dude, how much is these Jones? He like, they $75. I said, $75?
For paint?
I said, damn, I'm gonna come back and grab these Jones later. But I stayed and looked at every shirt for 30 minutes.
And every shirt was original.
Every shirt was different until the boy was like, yo, bro, you gonna get something? That type, I was standing around looking.
You was drawing.
So I was soaking it all in because I'm trying to go back home and do this shit.
Got you.
So I go back home, I start telling JP, yo, JP, and that's when Pearl's art store was down there. It was
down the street, yeah, I remember.
So I'm like, yo, JP, we gotta go to Pearl's. We gotta get some paint, this, and that, some t-shirts. Where can we get t-shirts from? It was just the whole like, so I messed up my mom's whole living room. I didn't know none of the process. It was ridiculous. Couches fucked up, everything, right? And she still wasn't like.
She seen it though.
So in the process of that, JP was in the mix. So he's like, he just do a joint for me. I'm gonna show everybody. I gotta go meet this boy down South Philly. I gotta meet another nigga down North. So as he's making his moves all day, he got King Saladeen.
Yeah.
So he come back with 3 orders. The boys gave me the couple dollars here. How much you gonna charge? And take my little 10. My little $10 off every. Like, and I'm like, what? He like, yeah, I told him $50, so 40 cool, right? I'm like, yeah, just keep winning him. He like, just give me a shirt every day, bro. I'm telling you, I'm gonna meet this boy. I'm gonna go to these. All right. So that's how it started. And I went back to school. But this is the first time that I went to school with some money and I have to ask my mom,
for no money.
Mom, can you send me 300? Can you send me 200? I went back to school like 14, 1500.
Off art.
Off shirts.
Off shirts.
Shirts, like, so when I got back to school, you know, I'm itching. I'm like,
you ready to go in now?
I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go back. Because I feel that entrepreneur.
So
I always
you knew how to make the money now.
It's not that I knew how to make the money. It was almost like when you get an opportunity and it's like a little window, but you like, oh shit, is water over there? You like,
I gotta go.
I can break through. You know what I'm saying? So that was the situation. It was really that, man. And maybe a year went past and I wound up leaving school. Like a lot of people ain't know that. I left school, came home, and you know when you come home, everybody know you for ball.
Yeah, yep.
I couldn't walk to the Chinese store. Yo, hey, what you doing? Why is you home, bro? I'm lying. Oh, I'm getting transferred. It was crazy, bro. So I had to kind of like, and I was telling Berto this the other day. I'm like, yo, it was a point in my life, at that point where I'm talking about, I had to forget. I wanted everybody to forget I played basketball. That's how hard I was like, yo, I'm coming home and I'm doing art. Nobody's going to remember that I played basketball.
You don't
unless
want them
you
to
played
remember.
with me.
Yeah, if you wasn't there with me,
you ain't gonna remember, but I had to cut off basketball. Dog, I didn't watch no basketball because one of the reasons was I played so much AU basketball and played with so much talent. I'm watching players that I played with. Now I'm watching Monday night basketball, Syracuse versus, these is dudes that I played with. My best friend is playing with Melo, Skinny Hakeem Ward. This is my friend where my dad and my mom would pick him up. He would duck out of the house down the bottom. Like, so I had to cut it off because it was like basketball was just so like, I didn't know what I was going to do if I couldn't make it in basketball, but I didn't think like I was going to make it in basketball because I've been around so much basketball.
Yep.
I seen 7-foot 10th graders. And when I'm, you know what I'm saying? When I'm 8th grade, 9th grade, I'm seeing like all these dudes, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I kind of knew, I'm like, all right, I'm 6'2", I got game, I'm good. But I got to figure something else out. I know I'm smarter than this because I see color. I see in color, bro.
Yeah,
like literally.
Everything.
So, dog, if you ask any of my coaches from back in the day, dog, they will say, yo, Raheem was a space cadet. Like, because the things I would ask them, I'm like, yo, how can we design our jerseys for next year? And they're like, what are you talking about?
That has nothing to do with the game.
It has nothing to do with anything. And I'm like, I just think, I'm just kid doing, like, my brain was just going crazy.
You was just always, you seen art your whole life.
So art was first. Then basketball was like, I was 6'5", foot at 12 years old. So everybody made me play basketball. They made me go to Myers. Literally like, bro, you gotta go play at Myers. And I'm like, Myers, and you know from Myers where I'm from is kind of a long way.
Long way, yeah.
So I'm like, what we?
You supposed to play at King Saladeen anyway. But Myers, because it was closer to
It's in between. They probably almost the same.
Almost, but when I look at...
But King Saladeen is a little bit...
It's closer.
Yeah, because I'm not from up that way.
You're not from 58th Street. So technically, but the games was at Myers back then.
Yeah, so I mean, that was how I got introduced to basketball, bro. Like literally like being tall as hell at a young age and everybody being like, yo, you gotta go play. But I was stuck in the house painting, drawing. Yep. That was my twist, bro. That was my twist.
So in a journey of life, even for me, like I was practicing my room DJing, but you know, when you get money for the first time, you start doing something you love, like you said. When JP came and was like, yo, here's 50, you like, it's a whole nother switch that happens now.
A whole nother switch, bro.
So now you've seen Mesquite, and of course, anybody from Philly know Mesquite had it locked for years, and then it went nationwide. But you've seen that you had your own technique, and was like, okay, I can do this. You know, I can paint. I got the hand,
and I can talk.
Yeah,
and I can talk.
You was a hustler.
Yeah, I just needed to find my product.
So that's when. So now, your love and art is turning into a business for you now. So you know, because you making money, you got a person with you, which is JP. He's like your Don King out here almost.
Yeah,
he's that person that's helping. Because I think when you young in your journey, and even to this day, it still feels good when you got somebody believing you, and it's honest and it's genuine, you know. And a lot of creators don't have that. And a lot of people that have dreams just don't have a person that believe.
Definitely.
So now, in this part of the journey, it feels like the brand is starting to come together. Like, okay, it's like, okay, you know what? I see color. I'm off ball. Ball was cool, but nah, this art is it. I got my man. I got JP. He's like your Phil Jackson. When did the world of like King Saladeen come together and like, because now you got JP, it's like, it's the name came in, but then JP the money bear, because these seems like now two new defining moments in your path. Like when did that come about?
So it was, so my middle name is Saladeen, right? So I used to hate it as a young kid because they used to always like, Sardine, because the teachers say your whole name.
It hit you with
it's like, so I ain't never really like want to put Saladeen out, but when we was doing the t-shirts, I'm like, damn, sounds cool. Sounds like a brand. I'm thinking like, it sounds like a polo and then Mesquite was big too. So I'm like, Saladeen, okay.
Mesquite, Saladeen.
And it's my name. And it's actually my name. So I'm
like,
all right, cool. So JP got me to quit my job. Every day he would call my job the plantation. What is you doing? We need to be out in New York. So when I was at work around this time, this is 2009, 10, 11. I left my job in 11, July 4th, 2011. We used to be coming back and forth to New York to party at Greenhouse. So he was heavy. My man was
Greenhouse.
And you know, they don't even let just anybody in. Like they're turning back girls. I've never seen nothing like this in my life. They turning back
Philly club life compared Bahama Bay compared to Greenhouse is a whole.
People don't even. You had to be there, right? So JP, he knows the owner. We're coming in. He's getting me in with a Nike sweatsuit. This is the time where he's like, yo, he just switched my whole thing up. Yo, we got to go to Hugo Boss. We're going to start wearing Hugo Boss. That's a perfect joint where we can get into these restaurants. We can go play it. It ain't too much. You know what I'm saying? We can get some Prada here and there. Like, he had my whole joint laid out. So he buying out all these tables, $5,000, $6,000 tables to just chill and just, like, drink. So, you know, people asking, what do you guys do? We young as hell. What do you guys do? He's like, oh, my man, the best artist in Philly. We up here working right now. This, and that. So, you know, when you come to New York, you start talking about anything in the arts, and they like, so what's your medium?
What's
I'm like,
medium?
What?
Like, we large.
So JP give me the joint, bro. That's when like what you paint with markers, crayons, niggas say
statues.
And I'm like, oh yeah, acrylics. I knew what I worked with, but I didn't know the terminology.
Yeah, you ain't know language.
So I'm just up here, and little things like that would be like, damn, on the ride back. I'm telling you, bro, you need to be up here in New York, bro. You walk past a billionaire, he got a sweatsuit on, dog. You don't even know. Just be you. I'm like, bro, I gotta get back to work. We gotta roll. Like, I'm in that Philly mindset. Like, bro, I'm not trying. Like, what you trying to lose your nut ass car? Like he used to always be like that. Like, bro, you got a nut ass car. No, like, who cares, bro? Yeah. You gotta live, bro. So he was like trying to get me to not be regular. He used to say it all the time, bro. Why are you trying to be regular? And I used to be like, what the fuck is you talking about, right? So it was really just like JP taking me outside of my element. The dude made me do First Fridays. I'm just trying to give like so many bullet points of like
the journey,
making me uncomfortable, but that's what made me be
turn
me.
into who you are.
He called me one day. Yo, Heem, because he downtown, he's eating at Steven Star restaurants all day with chicks. He like, Heem, you know that's about to go to work? Every day. I'm like, yo, bro, what's up? What you need, man? Like, he like, no, you need to come down. I'm downtown right now. People selling their artwork out here. You need to sell your art. So I'm at the mindset. I'm Philly boy. I'm not standing outside selling no art, man. Call me back.
No nut ass dude.
He said, bro, all right, bro. Hang up on me. Calls me back. He sends me pictures. This is like the Razor phones when you just started taking pictures with phones and stuff. So he sends me like people set up with their art, and I'm thinking it's some corny stuff, but it was dope. I'm like, where they at? He like, no, don't worry about it now. Don't worry about it now. I was attracted to abstract art because I'm from the street, didn't go to school for none of this stuff. So when I walk in these galleries, this is the stuff I'm seeing. So I'm trying to do that.
To do
so
the abstract,
when I show these galleries, it's relatable. They're like, okay.
We see what you do.
Because if I come in doing just the stuff I do in my book,
it ain't
it's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, get out of here.
So JP was always like, yo, bro, you need to figure out a logo. You need some type of branding, like, because abstract artwork's everywhere. He used to be like, bro, when I go to New York and I check into the Dream Hotel and all these other places, they got big abstracts behind the drawing, but I would never think that was yours because that's just how art be in these places.
There's no identity.
No identity, bro. You need something that's going to speak to everybody. You need a logo. So he was going through my books, and the inspiration came from the College Dropout album. Takashi Murakami, the College Dropout Bear. But I was sitting at work just bored and just like daydreaming and just, so I'm recreating all of this stuff. I'm changing the eyes, I'm changing the position of the face, the clothing, everything. So that's what he seen when he was looking through my books. He like, yo, Hank, let me see what you be doing at work. I show him my book, he going through shit. This cool, this cool, this cool. He see the bear, he like, yo, what's this? So I'm like, I don't know, something I did on Tuesday, whatever. He like, bro, I can see this shit on everything. And I can literally see him saying it to me like in the basement while I'm saying this, yo. And it was like, whatever, bro. I'm kind of like, this my man, so it's like, he don't know about art. So I'm kind of like, bro, I can't walk in with this in no gallery. Like, it has to be, I've been in a million galleries now, so I'm going back and forth to all the Philly galleries and stuff, so. But the inspiration came from him, but it didn't happen right then and there. I kept doing whatever I was doing, but it came to the time where he passed away, when I'm thinking about all these conversations, you know what I'm saying? I'm going through it.
Now you're taking what he said to bring it to actual
But
life.
I was already kind of working on stuff. So at this time, I already moved to Miami. So I moved to Miami when he was locked up, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
My cousin Barry, I don't know if you met Barry, but my cousin Barry let me sleep on his couch. Like, I called him, I'm like, bro, I got like $700 to my name. Like, how long can I come down there and just rock out? So before that, we had a long conversation. I talked to him in a couple years. He doing his thing. He a disability lawyer. He's like the son. He's my mom's best friend's son. We got the same birthday, everything, right? So we grew up together. But he went to like Milton Hershey. So those schools where you don't come home. Went home, studied abroad. Went to University of Pittsburgh. He's a disability lawyer living in Miami. So he got his shit together. When I'm calling him, I'm like, nigga, I'm in my mom's basement. I got $700 to my name, and I'm like, bro, like, what can I do to, you know what I'm saying? Get out there. He like, bro, just do me a painting.
I'm coming.
I said, bro, go to the closest art store, get the biggest joint you want, bro. I'm coming down. I was down there next, like 2 days. I gathered up some money, whatever. Was down there in 2 days, bro, and that was probably like 2 years. That's how I found out about Art Basel. I was so turned up. I'm the Philly boy down Miami. I'm selling glasses. T-shirts. I was buying these like these Vans from Old Navy that I was redoing and
painting on them.
I was going crazy. So everybody is like, they know me as the boy that's just like
Philly boy
talking about art. So they like, bro, you need to be down the beach, bro. You never been to Basel? I'm like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about. Basel, what's that? And there wasn't no Uber, so you couldn't just be like, let me just get around.
You had to get a scooter.
It's the taxi joint where you like
that or a scooter, either or.
Yeah, scooter crazy. I was getting the taxi, but it was like $80 each way. It's like it's not far. He was living in Hollywood, Florida, so that's like
it's a little distance.
A little distance, but that opened my world up to the point where, and that's when Instagram started. So I made my jump right when Instagram started. So people knew me in Philly. I'm doing shows. I'm doing First Fridays. I'm doing stuff on South Street. I maxed out Philly. You know what I'm saying? That's why I called my cousin like, yo, bro, can I come down there and just stay? So from there, I went to LA. So now, at that time, I'm rolling. People in Philly like, oh shit, you ever coming back? No, I ain't coming back. You feel me? I found something now, right? So now I'm in LA, and this is when I get the call from JP. He gets out of jail maybe like 2 weeks prior from this phone call. He's like, damn, you out LA? I'm about to come out that joint. I'm like, all right, cool. Make a long story short, he called me one day like, bro, my fucking head been killing me. I'm like, you know, your man called you about a headache. You like, yo, bro, just go take a, you know what I mean? Go take a Tylenol, lay down. I don't know, hit me back. So he like, no, bro, it's kind of serious. I'm about to go to the hospital, bro. I'm about to go like see what it is. I need like an 800 pill or 1,000 joint. I'm like, damn, you going through it like that? So he goes, he checks himself in the hospital. Now he checks himself. He goes to get checked out. Yep. I guess they do some kind of MRI. They admit him. He don't never call me back. So it's like 2 days. I'm like,
something ain't right.
His sister hit me. Yo, they admitted John into the hospital. They said he got a mass on his brain. A mass on his brain? How you get that?
Yeah.
I'm from Philly, bro. Even you getting killed.
Jail.
It ain't no cancer. I don't know nobody who had cancer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, damn, all right, cool. Let me get my shit together. Let me go see my man. I got probably like $600 to my name. I'm sitting on my people's couch.
In LA.
Yep. And I was out there for a while. So she had one of those houses, one of those spots on Hollywood and Vine. So the ceilings is like this. So I'm working every day. I'm painting, doing all kinds of shit. And I used to try to paint in front of people. Like I used to paint on the roof. That's where everybody parked their nice cars. So I asked the people down, like the people in the building, yo, is it cool if I paint upstairs? They're like, yeah, but not near the people's cars. So that's how I used to get my conversations. And I'm like, everybody live here. I'm sure they got a couple dollars. They gonna buy some art. So anyway, I was doing a bunch of art and I'm putting it all on the wall, all the way up to the ceiling. So my homie at the time, you know, she was doing a whole bunch of different businesses. So she used to have people come in all the time. So one dude, when I'm sitting there brainstorming, like, how the fuck am I gonna get home, dog? I got like 500. If I go home, I'm thinking all this stuff in my, like, I don't have no money. So I'm like, how do I figure this shit out to the point where I get home, check on my man, and I can get back out here? Because I had things going on. That was my first art show, was in Hollywood, that I put together, $100 investment, crazy. So I get back to Philly. Oh, so how I get back to Philly is I did a couple Money Bears, but it's one of them on this wall with all abstract. So pretty much like if this wall is just like this, but it was like small stuff too, and it was like a small Money Bear that was probably like a 12 by 12.
Got you.
So the boy come in like, damn, you selling all these Johns? I'm like, yeah. I'm like in deep thought thinking how I'm gonna get money. He asked me, am I selling? I'm like, yeah, I'm selling all these Johns. Which one you want? He like, that John with the money in the eyes, that's a dog or like a bear or something? I'm like, yeah, it's a bear. He like, how much is that John? I'm thinking in my head, calculating, how much a ticket? Probably $250. And I'm like, yo, 500. He like, all right, let me give you $250 now, I'm gonna be back. I'll grab that John as soon as I come back. I'm like, all right, bet. So I'm like, but I'm thinking like, damn, he bought the joint at JP was like, that should be the joint.
This how it all come together.
So I get back home to see my man in the hospital from selling a Money Bear. The first Money Bear ever. To some boy, Spanish boy, I don't even know him. So I get back to Philly and I'm going to go see him. Now, you know, I'm kind of like that movie Half Baked, right? When he went on a date. And it's like
the calculation kicking down.
Everything is check. So I'm going to go see him, and he in VIP, not VIP, but I'm going to VIP parking because other than that, I got parked 7 blocks away. I don't feel like, well, it's too much. So every day it was like $17. I'm every day. So I was going to go see him for like 2 weeks, but we had some of the deepest conversations when he was in there, bro, because it went from him talking to another surgery, then not talking, but giving me all these.
The faces, he was talking through the looks.
Yeah, because his mom, his girl was pregnant at the time. It was a lot going on in the room. And he would just be like, and I'd just be like, damn, like he can't really talk to me, but we would be having these like telepathic conversations where it was just crazy, bro. So he passed away in about a week. And that was like that was one of the craziest situations I've ever been through, because it was like my dog, my man, the boy who was pushing me, made me quit my job, and now you're just going.
So to me now, King Saladeen he's arrived to the art journey. You know, everything is there, you know, from the wisdom of JP, the coaching of JP, the handwriting from grandmother, being able to travel, you know, to me, the biggest art capitals in America, which is New York, LA, Miami. Yeah. You're at that point now of like you're standing on your own. You know, there's no more JP. Like, what where did you see your business change now? You know, because now you work with all the top brands. You know you've done a lot of trading cards. You've been in sports, automotive, you know, overseas, actually doing sculptures, your own toys. How did you transition from like that road you came from, taking all that knowledge, understanding your craft now, to becoming the business of King Saladeen?
So I think like that started around like early 2014. So JP passed away at 13. I needed like a month to get myself together, and I was going, bro. I was just like on something. It was like heavenly presence too. You know what I mean? Because it was a lot more than me going on. I wound up meeting Oren and his brother. Oren wound up hitting me up, wanting some artwork. Make a long story short, we got super tight, and they kept inviting me to New York. So that was like that JP blessing where it's like, you need to be in New York, but you got to have something to do in New York. You can't just be in New York unless you just got a bunch of money. So Oren and his brother Wayne, they was like that entryway to like have a reason to be in New York now. And they're putting me on to their friends, now making money in New York. So now I'm meeting their friends doing artwork, and it's like now every time I come to New York, I'm picking up thousands of dollars and going back home, and it's like, oh, this is crazy. And I'm like,
real now.
how do I get to stay in New York? You know what I mean? So I think like the journey with me by myself with nothing, it made sense when I got to New York, because I've ran into people that understood how to not really art, but just they knew I had something. It wasn't a Philly mindset. It was more, oh, I know who would want this and this, this and that. And then from there, just meeting people and taking on opportunities, meeting corporate situations and get my first corporate deal. So, I mean, it was New York. It was New York. It was New York, but me actually knowing how to operate in New York.
So through that journey, you've been very careful. You know, you're guarded as a person, from what I know you, and you're also guarded as an artist. You know, meeting Oren and his team seemed like the right team, but expanding your art journey, it's a lot of people coming after you now for paintings, for prints, and like collaborations and working. How do you know, and it's a wild west out there. Once social media came, galleries wasn't, even me being a gallery owner saying this, is we weren't the end all be all. Like, how did you maneuver your way of protecting your brand, making sure you're working with the right people? You know, even selling your art to certain people, you know, you don't even want your art, certain people to buy your art, certain collectors. Like, how do you protect your art brand from, you know, from a level of being who you are, just coming from a kid from Philly, no art training, no gallery, no management at a young age, to now dealing in this high-end art world of like brand deals, G clay prints versus 8x12s, you know, works on paper, like knowing all that. What keeps you in line to protect your brand the way you do?
I mean, I think like I'm only going to do something that feel right. So like we had a conversation earlier. You said, always go with your gut. That's something I always went with through my whole life, just being able to make it, not art, not business, just like, should I go out to this party? My stomach say, no, I'm gonna chill. So with business, I think it's the same thing, especially when you understand the business and you can be like, is this a quick money scheme, or is this gonna be something that's gonna be a good situation for a year later? Or is it, you know, I started thinking about stuff like that. And then that was one of the reasons why I wanted to meet you, because I was meeting so many people, but they wasn't African American. You feel what I'm saying? And they wasn't in this space. So I was like, when I seen you on the gram, and then I found out you was from Philly, that's why I had to DM you. I'm like, bro, I didn't even know how to do it, because I'm still Philly. So I'm not trying to be like Joe, but I'm trying to let you know, like, bro, I really admire you, but I want to meet. And however, so I think like meeting you helped a lot too, because it was certain situations that I'll be talking to different companies, and you'd be like, nah, I don't think that's for you. And I needed that, because coming from Philly when you coming from Philly, you just trying to make it, you trying to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? So the thought of your brand identity and things that don't fit the morals don't really come into your mind like that when you need money. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. Yeah.
So I felt like God blessed me with, like, I had money at the time when I met you. I was just looking for like direction, and now I got 2 kids. So it's a lot different. I got a whole family, I got a whole tribe, I got a whole situation, I got the company, I got people that work for me. So I got to think about those things like, okay, is this opportunity right now, or is it going to make us better in a year, or would this hurt us in a year? So I don't know. It's just trial and error, bro. I'm still every day is
Still learning.
Every day still learning free.
So the art game, man, to almost end it all up, man, to the interview, the art game is a wild west now. You know, it's just, you know, if anybody takes certain jobs for money. Some people, you know, a lot of people doing art for different reasons now. You know, a lot of artists could sell art right off their Instagram, right off social media.
Right.
You know, how are for now, you know, with the success of like Lexus and Listerine and Tops and, you know, just all the great brands you're working with. What is the process any different for you now? Like growing to the levels that you're growing to, or is it, you know, because like I said, it is a Wild West. There is no order. There is no wrong or rights. But
Right.
how does that fit now in your life, being to where you at now with your brand?
Where does it fit? I don't know, Free. I mean, I do know, but it's just every day. It's just the world moving so fast, and last year was so different than this year
Facts.
that it's kind of like you got to kind of just make your plan and have your ideas and figure out how you're gonna get them out. Because no matter what, the attention span is getting faster and faster. It's like to the point where nobody even want to watch anything. And if something has substance, it almost don't get watched. So that's the crazy thing about nowadays. It's like if I'm dancing and I'm doing some dumb shit, people love that shit. But if I'm doing something, if I'm with my son and I got him a part of something and we doing something that's legacy and some real shit that's like serious, like our grandparents would be proud of such type stuff. I just think it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like, this is a hard question like right now, bro, because it's, you wanna be appealing for brands. You don't want to jump out the window. You want to keep your morals and morale
Integrity,
intact. You got people looking up to you. So it's really just like, yo, like, what am I willing to sacrifice to make it to the next level? I'm willing to take the long road. I'm willing to take the steps. You feel me? Because I know I got a son and a daughter looking at me, and I got angels up there that got me to this point, and I can't fuck this up.
No, that's deep, man. It's just, to me, in life, there's no real answer. It's just an experience that you got to try.
Right.
My last one, man, is, you know, you took a long road and a harder road. For the average road is not this of African Americans, you know. There's not many, you know, from the Ernie Barnes to the Kehinde Wildes to the Kadir Nelsons, you know, that I even could think of. And, you know, when you look at your life and you look at everything through this journey, if you could do it again or add any more things through the journey, like what do you think you would want to add?
Let me take a drink.
You know, take your time, good brother.
I can't really think of an exact thing, but now as I'm sitting thinking, I would have loved for my grandfather to meet you.
Wow.
Because, like, I think we'd have had more of a, like, yo, him, remember? Because we go back and forth now. So it's like, that was the one person you ain't meet. And he was the foundation. So it was like, I'm mad about he ain't meet you. He ain't never get to come to the compounds. And it's so crazy. He was gonna come to the show that we did in the Bronx. And I had got the Sprinter from my mom.
Family,
and all them.
y'all pulled up like Wu-Tang.
He said he ain't want to ride with all them women in the truck. That was his excuse for not coming to the compound. I ain't riding up there with all them women in that truck, man.
Yo,
this and that.
crazy.
And that was really one of the only things that he missed was the compound and maybe a few others. But he came to Miami with me everywhere. But I don't think I'll change nothing, man. That one thing.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the answer, man.
That's it. That was it.
Hey, man, thank you for coming to the pound, man. Appreciate it, good brother.
Thank you for having me, brother.
God bless.
You the GOAT, baby.
Cheers, bro.
You the GOAT, baby.